celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And welcome, my friend. Here's the toll-free number, 1-866-405-8405. And on the other end of that phone, Dr. Debbie and dog father Joey Villani, ready to answer your questions about your pets. And they're ready to go. I see that you no longer have Diet Pepsi. You used to come in with a Diet Pepsi. Now it seems like you're just loaded with iced tea today.
Iced tea, man, it's way more strong. I've learned that. I've got the shakes today, man.
More caffeine. But you're ready to answer the phones, and we'll do that in just a couple of seconds. Have you ever thought about taking any of your dogs to a doggy detox or doing a canine cleanse? Have you ever heard of that, Dr. Debbie?
You know what? I've heard of it. I haven't had it in my area, but I'd consider it because I would do it for myself. You know, we're not talking colon cleanses. We're talking, like a detox cleanse.
There is this hotel on the West Coast, I believe in Morristown, New Jersey, that specializes in canine cleanses. And they just finished their first canine cleanse week program. And we're going to find out how it went. We'll talk to them in just a few minutes right here. Also, Dr. Marty Becker is back. What do you got on the show, Doc?
Going to talking about maybe you got a new pet or you got an old pet. I want to talk about some things that your veterinarian might not tell you.
Ooh.
It might be things you need to know, or it might be things they don't tell you on purpose.
Okay, that's on the way. I'm going to stick around for that. That's for sure. That's a tease. What about you, Lori? What are you working on for this hour?
Well, like our vets, Dr. Becker and Dr. Debbie, they've probably suspected this for a long time, but there's a new study coming out from the vets up at UC Davis Veterinary School, and they say the color of your cat has got a lot to do with its personality.
Oh.
It's tude. Huh?
Catitude.
Okay, that's on the way. Let's go to the phones for your calls right now. Hi, Monique. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Where are you calling from?
Cascadero. Just up the road from you guys.
Yeah, just down the street. Well, how can we help you? I got the whole dream team here for you.
Oh, wonderful. I have a male cat that is my neighbor's that has found my kitty door and likes to come in my house. I'm told he has been sick, but he sprays everywhere. How do I stop him from coming in? And or I thought little males could not spray.
Oh, sure they can. Female cats can spray too. So any cat can spray. So yes. So the word's gotten out. You got a good place to live. So this cat knows what your other cats are saying. Hey, this has got
my other cats watch him come in and go, oh, okay, he's here. They don't growl at him. They don't hiss at him.
So he just makes himself at home and puts his feet up on the couch and is watching TV with everyone.
Just about, yes. And he knows when I come home, he goes, oh, she comes home to feed, okay. And he runs around to where I have the kitty door at and lets himself in.
Uh-huh.
And helps himself. And he'll wait till the others have eaten. And he hides behind a table. And then I see his little gold eyes back there. And he goes, okay, I can come out now. And he just helps himself. And I let him eat for a little bit and I throw him out, but...
Well, the problem is for several things here. One is you're letting him eat, so you're giving him that reward. So kind of
because I know he's going to eat whether I'm there or not.
Well, yeah, but you have to take responsibility for your actions in part of this equation because you're giving him a reward for coming in the house. So to ask him to not come in when you're giving him rewards is, that's asking a bit much from a cat who's learned how to be a polite guest in your house. So.
He is very a polite guest, and that's why I kind of have a hard time with him. But at the same time, it's just like, okay.
Okay. So your situation is a little different than our average caller that I field a lot. A lot of times I'll get people saying, I've got neighbors' cats that coming around. How do I keep them from spraying on my front door or my porch? That's a different type of approach because those kitties, we use outdoor deterrents to keep them away from the home. With this kitty, the solution that I would have for you is to get a motion activated or a microchip activated pet door. So instead of just having a door that anybody can come in willy-nilly, we want to get one that is activated sometimes by either magnets or microchips. But the new technology with microchips is that they can actually wear either a collar that has a microchip. I do believe there are some that actually can be synced with your pet's existing microchip. So that when they come up to the door, it opens for that pre-programmed number. And then if, a raccoon comes up or a stray cat that doesn't have access, that door will not open for them. So unless that cat is like right on your kitty's heels and is coming in the door, they're not going to be able to get access. So that would be the best solution. And you may need to look at, different pet stores. You may want to go online. I do believe there's a resource, Pet Doors. I think it's petdoors.com or .org or something like that. But they go through some of the different descriptions of the technology with doors. And there's a lot of things out there. So a lot of people don't know you can have this kind of limitation. So, and that also helps a little bit with security for, people or other critters. I had a client who's a pit bull ran in and killed their animals in their house, ran through the doggy door and just kind of ransacked the house. And so you can restrict that access.
They have to climb a couple stairs to get in to the kitty door because it's hooked onto the bathroom window, so it's not on the ground even. You got to come up a ways.
Well, that's good. At least you've restricted the dogs and the things like maybe coyotes.
But my question is do you know if those pet type windows that use sensors like that, if you can hook up multiple collars or multiple tags? Because I have 4 cats.
Yeah, I believe so. And I don't know the specifics on each and every product, but yeah, they definitely do. They do have that capability for more than one pet. So yeah, that should be something that you can.
I would have to be able to think it up for 4 different ones because all their microchips would be different.
Right. Absolutely. And from what I understand, and I'm not sure if my friend has one called the Sure Flap, and I'm not sure if that pre-programs for multiple ones, but I'm pretty sure it does. So that would be a solution. And, the reality is, so, if you can keep this cat out of the house, that may help. And are we confident it's that cat that's spraying, or do we know if your cats are spraying?
I am confident it is that cat because it's where he hides on the back side of the table.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily, because your household, when that cat is gone, they may be coming up to that area as well and marking. So that's the challenge that we have, is when we have a territorial signal, and that's what urine marking is. It's, a cat saying, hey, this is my zone, man. I'm marking it. It's like graffiti. It's cat graffiti on the wall.
Yeah.
So that's basically the essence of what it is. So, if we can keep that cat out, it might help the urine marking situation if it's either that cat or your other cats objecting to the presence of it and saying, hey, this is my corner of this dining room or whatever. I'm going to make my scent known because I see you're over there. So it could help in either scenario. But the other things that I do recommend to do would be to just look at where your cat's resources are, litter boxes, food, water, perching sites, and make sure it's at an area that's a bit distant from the access points in the house, so like the cat door or the human door, because those are areas where a lot of times they will either see or smell outside cats. So we want to make sure those resources are comfortable, that they don't feel threatened, that they're not real visually accessible to those other animals outside. So that's just kind of a psychological change.
Yeah, the food's in the front room, and the litter boxes are in the bathroom. But this cat just sprays willy-nilly. He sprayed in the bathroom. He sprayed in the fireplace.
Until you see him in the act, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because there's multiple cats in this household, and you have to be certain that it's really that one before we talk about who's at fault here.
Okay, I'm willing to do that.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and make sure you do use in those areas the cats have eliminated a good enzyme-based cleaner. Avoid ammonias.
That was my next question: is how do I clean that? So they get the
stay away from no ammonia cleaners and no bleach, because those are strong attractants, so it does nothing to deter a cat. But the enzyme-based products actually break down the odors, so that's what you're going to look for to help clean the site.
Okay.
All right, you got it. Well, good luck with things, Monique.
1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team right now. Dr. Debbie and dog father Joey Villani. This portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by World's Best Cat Litter. Hey, cat lovers. Here's what I did. I ditched my giant box of cat litter and switched to the concentrated power of World's Best Cat Litter. It delivers big performance in a tiny package. I get mine over at Target, Walmart, and even in my local grocery and pet store. Thanks, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio. Hey, Kim, how are you doing?
Hi, great.
Where are you today?
Actually, I'm in my vehicle traveling back from Texas, and I was listening to the show, and on my way back to Indiana, and I had a question for Dr. Debbie.
She's right here for you.
Here I am. Hey, what can we do for you?
Well, my problem is I have 3 rescued dogs. 2 of them are Weimaraners. I've had them for 3 years. Sergeant, the oldest male, they told me when I got him from the rescue site that he had an allergic reaction to rabies vaccine. So my vet has him on a different type of a rabies vaccine, but what they didn't tell us at the time was he has all kinds of allergies. And so we've tried different things. My vet and I, we've done, he's had his thyroid checked. He's had literally had to have surgery on one of his ears. He developed a hematoma from all the shaking, and it's really, it affects his ears the worst. And I'm just wondering if there's anything else that we can do or try, to see if we can get him some relief. What the regime we have him on now that seems to, keep it moderated the best is he takes Benadryl, and he takes about 6 a day, and they're 50 milligram each. So he's getting about 300 milligrams of Benadryl a day.
I'm assuming he's a big-sized boy then.
Yes, he's about 106 pounds.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right, as far as for a good-sized fella. It would knock us on our toes into the floor, but dogs are different. And so what else besides the Benadryl then?
Then I changed food. We tried the prescription diet, which, didn't get any relief from that. But what I did do was change them to Nutro dog food, which is supposed to be good for, skin allergies and so forth. Their coats are beautiful, but he's still, without the Benadryl, he just will drive himself crazy. Mm-hmm. And it almost, on the inside of his ears, it almost looks like he has eczema. But we biopsied him 3 months ago when they did the surgery on the hematoma. We went ahead and biopsied and sent it in, and they couldn't find, it was no type of a mite or anything like that. And like I said, they checked, did blood work and so forth. And I'm just wondering if we do that. And then there's also a special shampoo that I bathe him in that kind of, helps relieve it somewhat. But didn't know if you knew of any other avenue that we might approach, or maybe I need to do an elimination diet with him. Maybe there,
Yeah, definitely. And with, the elimination diets, there's, a lot of different ones to try. So if you try 1 or 2, sometimes, there's other ones out to try. And every dog is different on what they respond to, whether they do well with a special modified limited antigen diet, such as like a lamb and rice diet or a venison potato diet. And other dogs do better with the other style, what we call the hydrolyzed protein diet. So, you can kind of mix it up. And if you haven't switched between the 2 methods, then talk to your vet about that, because that might be a relatively simple thing we can try before we start getting into some of the heavy duty stuff. Because I'd have to say, that Kim, it sounds like your veterinarian has done a tremendous job in trying to manage this condition. And that is the frustrating part, is that allergies are such a huge chronic problem that sometimes we do our best to battle it and to control it, but we don't always win. But we just try to keep the pet comfortable and to prevent some of the side effects, like the hematoma, which is basically a big blood blister on the ear that develops from a lot of scratching and infections.
Oh, yeah. It was like the size of a hot dog.
Oh, golly, yeah. Now, the next steps that I would go, and, if you were here in my office and we've tried all those avenues, and I'm comfortable that, we had all of the different medicines that we've tried have not brought on a good response, what I would look at is the possibility of doing some allergy testing. And in your area, that if you have a specialist around, that can be done through a veterinary dermatologist. If you don't have a specialist around, then a lot of general practitioners can do a different style of allergy testing. And my preferred way that I like to do allergy testing is with the dermatologist, where we do a skin patch testing, where basically they test the pet against all the common antigens or the allergens in your area, household things, trees, shrubs, human dander, believe it or not, pets can be allergic to. they can test for those things, and that is done through a specialist. And now, if you're not inclined to do that, or that's not readily available, then a lot of practices, at mine, we will send out a blood allergy test. So we basically draw blood and send it out to a lab where they test in vitro, basically in a test, what potential allergens we might be sensitive to, and that can help in developing a set of antigens or shots that you can give to help desensitize Sargent to some of those common things, because you may not be able to eliminate things in his environment, such as trees, grass, and neighbors would have a problem with that. So, an allergen therapy.
And we're able to keep him, comfortable that way, but I just feel like, okay, am I going to shut his liver down eventually with all the Benadryl?
Yeah, and Benadryl won't typically, create a lot of concerns in that way. As far as if we were using heavy doses of steroids, which is kind of the next therapy that you can get into if antihistamines don't work. But steroids are kind of a slippery slope because they can help allergies, but then you get the whole gamut of side effects with that. Now, besides prednisone or steroids, then we can actually look at cyclosporine. And if you haven't looked at that with your veterinarian, that might be another option. For a large dog, it can be very costly in the initial phases of starting the medicine. But if we can wean our pets down to maybe just a few times a week dosing, it can become more financially reasonable. But that's basically an immune modulating drug. And one of the brand names of that out now is called Atopica. And I have a lot of success with that for allergy patients, especially if, they've been on prednisone and other therapies and just aren't getting, everything we want. So you might add that into the regimen as well. So.
And it was called Atopica?
Atopica. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Atopica. Okay. I will broach that with her when I get back to Indiana, and because he really is a great dog, Go
give him a big old hug from all of us and let us know how it turns out.
I will do that. Thank you so much for your time.
We appreciate you listening to Animal Radio. 1-866-405-8405 to talk to any one of the Dream Team.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Red Barn canned food for cats and dogs is grain and gluten-free.
When you travel to New York, LA, Chicago, and other major U.S. cities, stay at Kimpton Hotels, where all pets are always free. In the meantime, enter your pet in Kimpton's 5th annual pet photo contest by January 31st to win fantastic prizes like a 3-night getaway to any Kimpton hotel, plus airfare for 2 people and a pet on JetBlue. Enter at KimptonHotels.com/pet contest or on Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag KimptonPetPick2016. Sit, stay, and play at Kimpton Hotels.
There are times being a genius would really come in handy.
As your doctor, I'm going to give it to you straight. You have a severe case of gustatory horpulation aneurysis, and you need to choose between a cystoplastic Ballantate treatment or orthostatic musque surgery. I'll give you a second to think it over, but we'll need an answer right away. It's bad.
But thankfully, you don't need to be a genius to do your own taxes, because TurboTax's Smart Look feature gives you on-screen assistance to help answer your questions so you're never on your own. Intuit TurboTax. Taxes done smarter. Feature availability varies by product and platform.
Why are there seasonal beers? Because as seasons change, so do our thirsts. In hot summer, we crave something light and citrusy, like Sam Adams Summer Ale. Leaves change, and we seek out the malty comfort of Oktoberfest. Winter's chill makes us want rich, warm brews, like Winter Lager. Then spring blooms and beer turns bright again. Sam Adams Cold Snap. Crisp and refreshing. The beer brewed to bring you from snow to sun. Sam Adams Cold Snap.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Save responsibly.
Hi, this is Carrie Annie Naba from Dance with the Stars. Don't forget to spay and neuter your animals, and you're listening to Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio. And we are celebrating the connection with your pet. Here's the toll-free number, 1-866-405-8405. And on the other end of that phone, well, Judy is answering your phone, and she's screening calls for Dr. Debbie and dog father Joey Villani. And we'll go back to the phones in just a couple of seconds here. I want to welcome yet another station to the Animal Radio Network, and this would be KWQQ Double Q in Farmington, Bonaparte, Iowa.
Woohoo!
So welcome, guys and gals, to the Animal Radio Network, and I think that is probably our most Midwest station.
I think you're right.
Looking at a map. We'd love to hear from you. And in fact, if you're brand new to Animal Radio, to my right is Dr. Debbie, answering your vet medical questions. To my left, Joey Villani, the dog father, with your grooming questions. And over in the newsroom over there, we have Miss Lori Brooks, working hard in the newsroom. In fact, what do you have coming up this hour?
Well, the AKC, busy that they are, has added 2 new breeds of dogs to their registry. We'll tell you, what they're like and what you can expect and their names.
Okay, that's on the way right here in just a couple of minutes. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk to a lady who, she's a marketing manager for a hotel for animals. And this hotel for animals, strictly animals, I believe, we'll have to ask her, is having a canine, or had a canine cleanse.
Not a colon cleanse, to be confused.
No, a canine cleanse, which is a doggy detox program. And apparently the same kind of things that you would go through for humans. I believe they have a strict diet and meditation and all that. We'll find out more about that in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. Don't you know this healthy serving of Animal Radio is brought to you by the grain-free Red Barn Naturals canned food for dogs and cats. Cats love it. Always made in the USA with natural, functional ingredients to support your pet's optimal health. Learn more over at redbarninc.com. And thanks, Red Barn, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Hi, Joanne Worley on Animal Radio. Hello! And please spay and neuter your pets. As a matter of fact, spay and neuter your friends' pets also. Give it to them as a present. What a good idea.
Hi, this is Joyce DeWitt on Animal Radio. Please spay and neuter your animals. Thank you.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. A hairless terrier and an ancient North African hound are now ready to run with the pack of dog breeds that are recognized by the American Kennel Club. The AKC has announced that the American Hairless Terrier and the Slougee have joined 187 other recognized breeds. American Hairless Terriers are bare-skinned, though some have kind of short coats that do carry the hairless gene. Their rise began when a hairless puppy was born in a litter of rat terriers back in the 70s. The Slougee, also called the American Greyhound, was developed to hunt. They're kind of lean, leggy dogs that have some similarities to Salukis, and they're known for speed, endurance, and grace, but they're kind of reserved dogs. Veterinarians from the University of California at Davis have discovered that cats with calico and tortoiseshell coat patterns tend to challenge their human companions more often than cats whose fur is not so flashy. The research backs up long-standing observations among veterinarians that such cats are often difficult, you might say. The study, based on a survey of more than 1,200 cat owners, found that calicos and torties are more likely to hiss, chase, bite, swat, and even scratch humans during interactions. The UC Davis data also suggests that cats with gray and white and black and white coats are slightly more likely to engage in those behaviors as well. And researchers said they found that to be kind of surprising. Cats sporting other colors, including solid black, though, they say, display aggressive personality characteristics far less often. So if you're not familiar with cat coloring, calicos are mostly white with patches of orange and black, and torties often have coats that feature a variety of black, brown, amber, and red patches too. And because 2 X chromosomes are necessary to produce that coloring, the vast majority of both types of cats are female. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy. With everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com because your pet's health and happiness come first.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance. Free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics, canine caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio. Celebrating the connection with our pets, here's the toll-free number, 1-866-405-8405. For Dr. Debbie or dog father Joey Villani. Is she on the phone? This is really cool. This happened last week. Deb Montgomery is joining us from the Morris Animal Inn, and they're located in Morristown, New Jersey, and they had a Doggie Detox program. And this, the beginning of the new year. I know it sounds silly, but a lot of people like to go through their cleanses, and that's exactly what they have offered dogs. So we'll find out exactly what's going on there. Let's welcome to the show Deb Montgomery. Hi, Deb.
Hi. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, you need to explain what was this event you had, the Doggie Detox program?
Yes. To kick off the new year, we had a canine cleanse, and it's a health wellness getaway camp. So it's just for the week, and it was a fantastic event. A lot of dogs came, and a lot of fun with the detox drinks and whatnot. So a lot of fun happening here.
Now, is this humans and dogs, or just the dogs?
It's just the dogs.
Okay, so no humans allowed.
Bummer! I wanted to sign up.
I know. A lot of people say that. I mean, the veggies and the smoothies that are put together, definitely a human could drink it as well. So.
Well, a bunch of dog guardians shelled out I think $260 for a week there. And what did the animals get?
We have a lot of activities the past week. We had a relay race, a doggy mud run, hiking. We did a lot of nature trail runs. We had a Zumba dance party and a obstacle course. And then we also had some spa amenities going on too. We had blueberry facials and coconut oil and spritz brush outs. We had a lavender towel treatment. We also had baby powder belly rubs, and then a podicure where you're massaging the paws a little bit there. And then, of course, with the juices, we kind of mixed it up a little bit between, we had bananas and blueberry drinks, we had green bean protein shake, kale and carrots drink, apple and peanut butter blend, and like a pumpkin and yogurt as well. So we really did a lot of things, and they went home absolutely exhausted, but definitely more relaxed and healthy and happy, and clients loved it.
Now, did they stay the night for the week, or was this just the day thing?
Well, some of the dogs did spend the night. There is an option. It is a daycare event, but we do offer lodging as well, so we did get both.
Do you offer regular daycare throughout the year?
Yes, absolutely. We have throughout the year is daycare, as well as we have special events all throughout the year. So yes.
How did this start? This is kind of an interesting take on a kennel.
We have always believed, the family's been around, the business has been around since 1960, and so through the years, we really like to take care of our guests. Both dogs and cats come here, and we want to make sure that they have the best quality care, and we want to make it fun. So it's really just a fun event that we put together. You know, we brainstormed, we did research, we talked to a lot of people, talked about to the clients as well, just to see what their needs are, and this is what we came up with.
Do you think you're going to do it again next year?
You know, what we do is, we get feedback and everything. It seems like everybody loved it. It is a possibility. We do change things up all the time, though, so it's hard to really say definitely because we're always, we want to keep things new and fresh and fun.
Now, can I do any of these things at home to detox my dog since I missed out on it?
Oh, of course. I mean, we always recommend speaking to your veterinarian as well because each dog is different. They have different needs, and we always recommend, small doses because, a lot of times if you're starting something brand new with your pets, I mean, they can have, diarrhea or something, you never know. Yeah. So you want to be safe and sorry. So definitely small doses. So, for example, with our kale and carrots drink that we did, if you add a little chicken broth in there, throw it in the blender, I mean, it really entices them. And, I mean, they lapped it up. They loved it. So it's definitely stuff you can do at home.
Dr. Debbie, you should have one of these at your office there.
I would be signing up, and I think if you threw the people in with it, you'd even get, a meditation time. I was going to ask you, do you have any problems where you say have, a rogue retriever who's, being disruptive during meditation hour or something like that?
We do have an energetic bunch sometimes, but by the end, I'll tell you, they're falling asleep. They're relaxed. Once we get to that point where we have the calming music and, we have the massages and, just letting them take that moment to relax. You'll be surprised how even the energetic ones tend to start to get really calm, especially with those around them. They realize, wow, and they go home. I wish you could talk to our clients too. They're so happy that because they're working all day, because they're doing things during the day, the fact that they have us to take care of that for them, when they go home and they pass out, they send us pictures of them rolled over, passed out on the couch. They're like, this is what you did for my dog. Thanks. So that's how we know we're doing okay.
The website is morrisanimalinn.com. If you're in the New Jersey area or plan to be, this looks like a fabulous place to have the animals spend a few hours at.
Thank you.
And we'll put all that information over at animalradio.com. Thanks so much for hanging with us. Deb Montgomery, the Morris Animal Inn Marketing Manager. Check it out, a luxury pet spa and resort. I think there's another job for us. We should open up one of these over on the West Coast.
On the West Coast.
I'm saying.
Right. Yep.
Thank you.
This is Animal Radio.
1-866-405-8405. We have Dan on the phone. Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Well, I've got a rescued greyhound, and I'd like to turn her into more of a watchdog instead of a lapdog.
Instead of a what?
Lapdog.
You mean your greyhound's a lapdog, did you say? What kind of dog?
She's a greyhound.
Greyhound?
But, she thinks she's the queen of the house. I mean,
but of course,
she's spoiled rotten. But I'm wanting her to become more of a watchdog since she's there with my wife by herself. So I didn't know if there was any tricks to teaching a dog to do this.
Okay, what is her general personality? How does she normally behave and interact in the home?
Oh, she's just, the home is her palace, and if anybody comes to the door, they're there to see her, not anybody else.
Okay, she kind of pushes ahead of the crowd to get her pettings. Well, I have to tell you there that, Dan, you may have picked the wrong breed for the purpose of being a guard dog. Greyhounds are... They're not really known for a strong protective instinct. And in fact, a lot of greyhounds can be very submissive and even a little bit of fearful. Now, if she
Yeah.
sounds like she's pretty well adjusted and she likes people coming to the home, it's hard to change those stripes and to make her into a aggressive dog. And I wouldn't encourage that.
Right.
You know, you can encourage alertness to things like doorbell sounds, and have her, you know, teach her to bark to those type of things. But it's really hard for some dogs to ask them. It's like asking a Labrador to be a guard dog. You know, they are just such wiggly little love bugs that it's really hard for them to have those types of skills. And that's how breeds have developed over the years, is that there's aptitudes with different breeds for some of these different skills.
Right.
So I don't think I'm going to really have a lot of great advice here for you, Dan.
I didn't know. We used to have two of them, and the other one was too aggressive. And when they were together, you know, when somebody would rattle the door or they would hear noises outside, the one would get up and the other one would follow. But then they tend to not get along together. So we had to send her back to the shelter, but she got readopted. But this one here, I mean, we used to have Bashans, and she thinks she's just an overgrown Bashan. She wants to come right up in your lap, and when it's time for attention, she comes over and nudges you, and when it's time to go to bed, she barks and goes to bed. So.
Well, she's got a good deal going. I don't
She's training us very well.
She's got your number.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
This portion of Animal Radio is brought to you by Kimpton Hotels. You know your pet is cute, right? We all think our pet's cute. I know I have the cutest pet. Here's what I suggest you do. Enter them in Kimpton Hotel's 5th annual pet photo contest. Up for grabs, the ultimate hospitality getaway. Get that? Hospitality. 3 nights at any of Kimpton Hotels plus airfare for 2 humans and a pet on JetBlue. Enter before January 31st at KimptonHotels.com/pet contest or Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag KimptonPetPick2016. And we are celebrating the connection with your pet. Here's the toll-free number, 1-866-405-8405. And on the other end of that phone, Judy is screening calls for Dr. Debbie and dog father Joey Villani. And we'll go back to the phones in just a couple of seconds here. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk to a marketing manager for a hotel for animals. And this hotel for animals, strictly animals, I believe, we'll have to ask her, is having a canine cleanse. We'll find out more about that in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. You know, the conversation we were having on Facebook this last week was about whether or not your dog or cat or iguana, whatever it is, do they sleep in the bed with you? Because 20 years ago, the dog was out back in a kennel.
Yeah, they weren't even in the house.
Now they're in the house, they're family members, and in my situation, I have cats all around me at night. In fact, I blame all of my back troubles on the cats.
I know. You won't move them, do you? You have to move for them.
I have a lot of trouble with the animals in bed. Joey, you were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's terrible. We have the 4 Karen Terriers that sleep in a king-size bed with my wife, and I'm not allowed to get into the bed. They basically attack you. Remember Jin Jin on Genie? Think of Jin Jin, okay, but 4 times, and just, tearing you up because you're getting in the bed. So I sleep in the other room.
Yeah, I would put an end to that. What is your wife? She doesn't mind, does she?
She's okay with that?
No, she wants to be in the other room. What are you kidding me?
She's probably trained
the dog. I'll tell you what, it's most of the time it ain't too bad being in the other room. So
let's hit the phones. 1-866-405-8405. Do your pet sleep with you? We go to Sugar. Hey, Sugar. Is Sugar your real name?
It is.
I love that. I bet you're a sweet gal, too. Huh?
Well,
yeah.
That may be debatable. We'll have to ask my husband that one.
Do you let your animals sleep in bed with you?
Yes, I do.
Uh-oh. What kind of animals do you have?
I have 2 pugs, and my younger one, who is 9 years old, has slept in my arms from the time she was 6 weeks old.
In your arms every
in my
night?
arms, and that's how she goes to sleep. She crawls under the covers and then crawls back out and keeps her two front paws on my upper shoulder and head on my shoulder and stares at my husband next to me.
Does she keep him away?
Between us.
Does she keep him away from you?
She won't move. Yeah, so the answer is yes.
How big is she now? How much does she weigh?
She doesn't weigh too much. She's probably about 10 pounds. She's a real little one. And my male sleeps on my other side, but more towards my hip.
What does your old man think of this?
He's not happy.
Yeah. The thing I noticed with the cats is it's really ruined my spontaneity, if you know what I mean.
Well, we have cats too, and we have a lock on our bedroom door because my one cat opens the door handle.
Oh, wow. So you don't let the cats on the bed, though?
Well, I do if the dogs aren't going to chase them. But it's usually a chase game. So at night, my cats are up at night roaming. They think that they're catching things, and they're just going after the dog toys and carrying them and screaming while they're carrying them.
Yeah, wow. I can't see having your bed as a racetrack.
We keep them locked out so we could sleep, and there's no chase games going on.
Yeah, okay. Well, I feel for your husband there.
But you know what? We've always slept with our animals, but it's not been where they have slept in the middle like my female does. I mean, we used to sleep with our Dobie between us.
So they would much rather have your husband out of the bed, is basically what you're saying, correct?
No, not really, but I'm not going to move my pug. Or is she going to move?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for your call.
It was nice hearing your radio show this morning.
Is this the first time you've heard it?
It is. I'm not usually up. I was on my way to my son and daughter-in-law. She went into labor this morning.
Oh, congratulations.
Do we have a baby?
No, but it was a false alarm. So I, 9 o'clock, came back home.
Okay. Well, we appreciate...
But I will be listening to it.
You can also catch the podcast after it airs nationally. I'll encourage you to check out the website at animalradio.com.
I will, for sure.
Thank you very much for calling. Boy,
nice talking with you.
2 new listeners in one day here. This is exciting for me. If you're a new listener or if your animal sleeps in the bed with you, we'd love to hear from you. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. Animal Radio is brought to you by Kipton Hotels. You know your pet's cute. Enter them in Kipton Hotels' 5th annual pet photo contest to win the ultimate hospitality getaway. 3 nights at any Kipton Hotel plus airfare for 2 humans and a pet on JetBlue. Got to enter before January 31st at KiptonHotels.com/pet contest or on Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag KiptonPetPick2016. And thanks, guys, for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. What can you do when coyotes keep killing your goats? Well, you could get a guard donkey. That's what a goat farmer in Massachusetts did when coyotes killed 2 of his favorite goats. An attack donkey sounds like a wacky idea, but Catherine Peterson of the University of Rhode Island's Veterinary Science Department disagrees, saying that donkeys have an inherent dislike of dogs and could be a pretty big threat to coyotes looking for a goat dinner. Pica the guard donkey was a little shy at first. She wouldn't eat for a couple days, but soon took up with one of the larger goats. She now seems right at home with her goat family, braying a lot and keeping those coyotes away. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too.
Hi, this is Iron Chef Kat Cora on Animal Radio. Please adopt a pet.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Well, hey. The number is 1-866-405-8405. And this hour, as if last hour wasn't enough, this hour, Dr. Marty Becker is going to be on with us, and he has a list of, I think, 3 things that your veterinarian might not tell you, or they might actually tell you and they shouldn't be telling you.
Or they might forget to tell you because they're so busy.
There you go. That seems to be my day. Just running in circles and you forgot the last note.
Well, no, you're a very transparent vet, and we all know every vet is different. One vet might say something different than another vet. But in your practice, you're very transparent. Is there really anything that you don't tell your clients?
I don't always tell someone when their dog is not attractive.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wait a minute. You mean there's ugly animals?
There's ugly cutes. But, I've always learned that if you can't say something nice, you don't say anything at all along that vein.
There you go. Okay, you know what? I think you still are pretty transparent. I probably wouldn't tell anybody if they had an ugly dog either, but I'm with Judy on that.
It's a rarity.
I've never seen an ugly dog. So it's,
Have you seen an ugly kid, though?
Lots of ugly kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We're all counting on our fingers. I can think of a lot of them.
Okay, well, Dr. Becker will be on, and he'll tell us those things that he believes your vet might not be telling you or shouldn't tell you. One or the other, he'll be here with that. Lori Brooks, what are you working on over there in the newsroom?
Well, a little more serious vein here. Our government, I didn't know this, the USDA actually licenses animal dealers. And this is just a really ugly business. There's a new documentary out on it. But what goes on behind the scenes, we'll tell you next.
Ooh, okay. Boy, this is a really engaging show today.
Yes,
if I didn't have to be here, I'd still be here just to listen. That's, What do you say we go to the phones for your calls right now? 1-866-405-8405. And don't forget you can ask your questions directly from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Where are you calling from today?
Calling from Massachusetts.
Boston area?
Yes, right in the Boston area.
Listening on WCRN. Well, thank you so much for that. How can we help you? I have the whole dream team here for you.
I have a 15-year-old cat who, about 2 years ago, became a diabetic. And we've been giving him about 4.5 units twice a day, and he seems to be fine up till about a couple weeks ago. We moved him up to have him retested. His numbers were in the 400s, so they increased it to 5.5 units in the morning and 5.5 units at night. And now he has when we retested him, he came in at about 20 or 23.
Holy cow, really low. Okay.
Yeah, really low. So I'm wondering if you have any other suggestions, because the doctor has suggested giving him 2 in the morning and then at nighttime, and then on the next day, just give him 2, and then the day after, give him 2 and 2, and so forth. And then we're going to have him retested this week.
So he's suggesting to drop down like half the dose eventually?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And can I ask what kind of insulin he's on?
He said it was for specifically for animals, but I don't have the insulin available to look at right now.
Okay, so you buy it at the veterinary office?
I do. He
Okay.
said it's exclusively meant for cats or animals.
Okay,
Yes.
maybe PZI or Prozinc?
Yeah, I think it might be like a Prozine.
Prozinc. Okay. Yeah. So that is a cat specific insulin. And the reason I ask is because there's different insulins that sometimes we're a little bit more prone to having issues with. A lot of insulins, a lot of folks will testify now that pet insulin can be quite expensive. You know, some of the stuff could be $150.
Yeah.
So there are other alternatives that sometimes could be cheaper. Some of the different human ones we may modify and use. We may use that with modification for animals, and just it can vary on how well one works for a cat versus it would work for a person. So in general, so let's kind of back up a little bit. With diabetes, very similar to people. You know, we have a goal. We want to keep the blood sugar in a nice, healthy range in cats. So we try to keep the blood sugar maybe between 100 to 200 would be like the sweet spot we'd want to stay with. So 400 is pretty darn high. 20 on the other end is exorbitantly low, so low that is at great danger for physical illness. And I was going to ask you if you had noticed that he was having any symptoms of hypoglycemia, being weak, listless, seizuring, anything of that nature.
Yeah, he was falling and unable, unsteady, unable to walk, and looked dizzy.
Okay.
And sometimes I thought he was had his limbs out straight.
Okay. So, yeah, he may have actually been going into seizures then. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I thought seizure.
Yeah. So blood sugars below 40 put us at risk for seizure activity and death. So, yeah, that becomes really serious if they're getting levels at around 20. So that being said, there's a couple things that could be going on. One could be as simple as we're giving more insulin than he needs at this time in his life. And there are cats that can go into diabetic remission. And usually if that's going to happen, it's usually in a newly diagnosed diabetic. So say I just diagnosed a kitty with diabetes today. If we put them on a low carbohydrate diet and get on good insulin therapy and keep those blood sugars tight, maybe up to as many as 80% of cats can go into remission, meaning that they don't need insulin anymore.
Okay.
If a cat's been on insulin for months or years and they're not really well regulated, they're kind of regulated, but their numbers kind of pop up and down all over the place, then they're less likely to go into a remission. And I think the numbers are less than 25% could go into like where you don't need insulin anymore. So one possibility is your kitty could be going through some kind of diabetic remission, meaning that we no longer need to give insulin at all, or maybe just not to that dose that we're currently doing right now.
Okay.
So that's certainly a possibility. So I do think the idea of backing down by 50% of his dose sounds really reasonable, and probably the safest thing you can do. And then, yes, retest him. There are also situations where we can get misled with blood sugar levels in animals. In cats, they're really sneaky. Cats have the ability to shoot their blood sugar up almost 250 or even 300 points with just stress. So putting your cat in the carrier, going to the vet office and showing up, your cat may already have a blood sugar of 350. And it's nothing you've done different or wrong. It's just the stress effect.
Okay.
So that can be tricky. And that's one reason why we like to keep, if we're doing a curve, we keep a cat through the day to check their blood sugars throughout the day, because we will see consistently where that goes throughout maybe an 8 or 12 hour period of time. So that could be the other possibility, is that, if we only saw a few numbers in a blood check that they did on the last time, we might have seen a 400 and thought, wow, he really needs more insulin. But if 6 hours later he was at 80, that may mean, no, he probably doesn't. So, So I think your vet's got the right idea there, and I would definitely concur with dropping that dose and then just reevaluating and seeing. And then diet-wise, what are you feeding this guy?
He's gone to canned food more recently.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have sensitive teeth, so we've been trying to get him to eat and keep his weight up, so we've been giving him canned food 3 times a day.
Okay. Good, yeah. And that's where with cats, they're kind of like a lot of people that, with monitoring diet, limiting carbohydrates in their diet, we can actually, in many of these kitties, get them either off insulin or decrease the amount they need. But carbohydrate levels, maybe below 20% of their calorie content from carbohydrates. So maybe 12 or 15 would maybe be ideal. So that's where prescription diets can often help to better regulate a cat with diabetes. So you can check with your veterinarian on that as well.
All right.
Hope that helps you, Jesse.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, keep us posted. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team. And by the way, Dr. Debbie has written several Kindle books. And if you happen to have a Yorkshire Terrier, a Shih Tzu, a Pug, or a Mini Schnauzer, look for her books, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. And they're over at Amazon. And we have links at animalradio.com. You can ask your questions toll-free, 1-866-405-8405, or from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android, and it's a free download thanks to those folks over at Doctors Foster's and Smith.
And I do believe we are taking the next call, and we have Sue on the line. Hi, Sue.
Well, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Where are you calling us from?
Tampa, Florida.
What's going on?
I'm calling about a dog that I adopted from the animal shelter in November, and I was visiting him. Well, actually, I'm a dog walker, and I fell in love with him last summer, and I brought him home in November. He's a 5-year-old lab Catahoula mix, and he's a great dog, love him to death. But I live here with my husband, and my daughter and her husband live with us temporarily, and this dog seems to be confused who his owner is, I think. Is that possible?
How so? Well, what's he doing?
He follows me around when I'm here by myself with him. But when my son-in-law walks in, he just takes off, and he won't come to me when I call or anything. It's like he thinks he's his dog, and he's mine.
And that bothers you, huh?
Well, yeah, maybe it's jealousy, but seriously, I mean, I can't. He just, he just clings to him, and I have to really encourage him to come with me to get him away from him. And I'm thinking, does he think he's his dog?
Well, this might be something more than just, who's the head dog of the house, if you will. Who's the caretaker of the home? Who's giving him food? Who's letting him outside, taking care of all of his needs?
Majority, that would be me. But playtime is my son-in-law. He definitely plays with him more than I do.
Well, you may have the same phenomenon going on in your house that I have in mine. I do all of what you just described. You feed them, take care of all of the medications, the light grooming, things like that. And my dogs, when I come home from work every night, they attack my husband and start playing with him and giving him attention. And I am truly chopped liver. And they just have no interest in anything that I have to do. But, that's where it's kind of what resource the different individuals are giving. Now, if he is always kind of anxious and following people around the house, then that would be maybe a little bit more of something we need to talk about in the household setting, about maybe setting up some routines that are really predictable for him. But if it's when your son just comes home and it's a playtime, then I don't necessarily think that's a forgetting who's the owner type thing. It's just, that's the activity that they participate in together. No different than if a colleague came over and they played in the backyard. It's, ooh, yay, every time I see this person, we play. So there's a really big positive reward. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because I've never had an older dog like this before. I thought, that was part of when you adopt a dog, an older dog kind of thing, and I just was confused.
Yeah, no, and he's settled into the house, so is he comfortable in any behavioral problems like digging or being destructive, anything like that?
No, he's a real good boy. So.
Well, awesome. Well, yeah. Well, Sue,
I
totally sympathize with what you're going through, because it's a daily battle in our household, and it just doesn't seem fair, because when you provide all of the love, all of that attention, and I just can't even get a good petting or a head scratch come the end of the day. So I'm with you there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call, Sue. This is Dr. Debbie at 1-866-405-8405.
Well, this portion of Animal Radio is underwritten by Stella and Chewy's. Pets, they thrive when they're fed the same food they get in the wild, and meal mixers are an easy, convenient way to add raw, nutrient-rich meat, wholesome fruits, vegetables, probiotics, and antioxidants to your dog's diet. You can learn more over at StellaandChewy's.com, and thanks so much for underwriting Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Stella and Chewy's believes that selecting the best food is one of the most important decisions an owner can make for their pet. We believe that pets thrive when they're fed the same diet they'd get in the wild. Dogs and cats are carnivores, and meal mixers are a quick and convenient way to mix a little raw nutrition and great taste into their diet. Made from premium raw ingredients like grass-fed meat and cage-free poultry with organic fruits and vegetables, meal mixers help kickstart your kibble. Learn more at StellaandChewy's.com.
I am the family dog, and it's that time of year again. The one where pet parents start looking for Fido-friendly hotels and destinations where Fido is welcome. Make no bones about it. Pets are part of the family, and we like to sniff out new places too, and we hate to be turned away, especially when we're on our best behavior. So we won't be left out in the cold. Be sure to pick up a copy of Fido Friendly magazine to find the best hotels and destinations where Fido is always welcome. Go online to FidoFriendly.com and subscribe today.
When you travel to New York, LA, Chicago, and other major U.S. cities, stay at Kimpton Hotels, where all pets are always free. In the meantime, enter your pet in Kimpton's 5th annual pet photo contest by January 31st to win fantastic prizes like a 3-night getaway to any Kimpton hotel, plus airfare for 2 people and a pet on JetBlue. Enter at KimptonHotels.com/pet contest or on Instagram and Twitter with the hashtag KimptonPetPick2016. Sit, stay, and play at Kimpton Hotels.
There are times being a genius would really come in handy.
All right, since Jess and I only ordered 3 drinks and split the chicken, and you guys ate about 3/4 of the guac, but Tim only left us $15, not including tax and tip, I'm thinking Hal and Karen split a third of the bill 2 ways, so you guys each take on 12%. Does that seem fair?
But thankfully, you don't need to be a genius to do your own taxes, because TurboTax's Explain Why feature helps you understand the math behind your refund. Intuit TurboTax. Taxes done smarter. Feature availability varies by product and platform.
Hi, this is Justin Silver from CBS's Dogs in the City here on Animal Radio, just reminding you to always stay new to your pets.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio. And if you look onto your phone, or if you're old school in your wallet, and all the pictures you have are of your pet, none of your spouse or any of your human friends, then this is your show, Animal Radio. We're all just a little bit crazy about our animals here, and we'd love to talk to you about it, especially if you're having a problem. We have Dr. Debbie here to answer your vet medical questions, and if it's a grooming issue, we have dog father Joey Villani. Lori, what are you working on over there in the newsroom?
Well, another government story. Government agency going to be putting out something that all of us pet lovers are going to love. We'll tell you what it is on the way.
The government, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Occasionally they do something for animals.
Okay. Let's answer calls for Dr. Debbie and groomer Joey Villani at 1-866-405-8405. We have Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Hal.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. What's going on with your animals?
Well, my animals, my little dog has really bad breath.
Little dog has bad breath.
So what kind of dog?
Bad breath. He's a little Chihuahua, Karen Terrier mix.
Oh, okay.
Chihuahua, though.
And how old is he?
She will be 3 years old this month.
Okay. All righty. So, well, I'll tell you, the bad breath. I mean, we talk about doggy breath. And there's 3 top things that I think of when I have someone who's talking about bad breath in their dogs.
Okay.
First one is dental disease.
Okay.
Second one is dental disease. And,
really?
Okay.
And the third one is dental disease.
I'm writing all 3 down too.
Yes. Well, and it's just a known fact. By 2 years of age, over 75% of dogs and cats already have some degree of dental disease present. Yeah. Okay. And we may not always see it. It may not be something that's jumping out at us, but it is there. And the reason is really because the teeth there's above the gum line and below the gum line. And only 40% of the tooth is above the gum line, what you can see. Okay. So that means that there is processes going on underneath the gum line. So we have bacterial film, we get plaque buildup, and then we get this, more mineralized tartar with time. Okay. So, especially in a Chihuahua, because they do have a lot of typical dental problems. So at that age, I would certainly be talking about doing a dental cleaning. Okay. And it's more than just, if there's not a lot of tartar, there's other stuff we do. So we do full oral charting, and that means we're basically going to kind of probe under the gum lines. We're going to look for pockets along the teeth, which can indicate periodontal disease, and a lot of times we'll get odor from bacteria down in those pockets. Okay. So that's an important thing. And also, the veterinarian will check and make sure that the tonsils look good, that there's no masses or anything like that. That could be also be contributing to the odor. Okay. And I do make jests, saying everything's due to dental disease, but the other types of things that can cause bad breath tend to be more medical in nature. So we might be looking at, GI disease, gastric reflux. We might have something like diabetes or kidney disease, sinus infections, things like that. So those in a younger dog we might think a little less of, and I definitely would focus my radar on the dental health.
My friend recommended giving my dog greenies. What do you think?
Well, I think that's something that we can use to go along with complete oral care, but it is not a replacement for dental cleanings or for, other types of home care. So once I do have a dog that's had his teeth cleaned, then I definitely do follow up with whatever we can do at home to help him stay clean and also to keep, the bacteria and the
Does
odor
that
from
include like
developing.
brushing teeth?
Absolutely. And the best thing that can be done for home care is teeth brushing. That's the best thing. And we want to do that every couple days because the soft kind of plaque will become mineralized within about 3 days if we don't dislodge it. So
Can we get real just for just a second? Do you do that with Boss?
You know what? I do have a toothbrush, and we do brush his teeth, but the frequency of which is not what I recommend.
Okay.
So
just checking.
It's my husband's job. I will say that.
Okay.
He's the one supposed to be doing that. So, but yes, that's the best thing you can do. But there are some other great home care products. Some through your veterinarian, and then some might be over the counter. And your veterinarian will have products that have ingredients like chlorhexidine, which is a antimicrobial solution that you can apply to the gums, and it helps to decrease the odor and the bacteria in the mouth, and can help to keep that plaque from building up. So there's a lot of different forms for that. Also, some of the oral products that contain zinc can be used for bad breath, and it basically is because zinc interferes with the bacterial proliferation, so it therefore helps with the odor associated with dental disease.
Well, a lot of answers there, Lisa. Thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
Good luck on that. Good luck on the bad breath with that dog there. It's toll free 1-866-405-8405.
This is an Animal Radio News Update, brought to you by Drs. Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with prescription medications and over-the-counter products like Advantix flea and tick medication delivered right to your door. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Really good news about a really bad problem now. Buried in a massive government spending bill is a provision that will shut down shady animal dealers who buy and sell pets for research, all paid for by your tax dollars. But that could be changing if Congress does the right thing and cuts off funding to pay for licensing of what they call Class B animal dealers by the USDA. You see, every year these licensed dealers with illegal bunchers round up thousands of dogs and cats who will then end up in laboratories. These animals include illegally trapped stray dogs and cats. Some, in fact, are even stolen right out of their yards. Others are purchased from shelters and flea markets, usually for under $20, and then sold to laboratories for hundreds of dollars. The USDA says Class B dealers supply laboratories with only about 3,200 dogs a year, but other sources, including the HBO documentary Dealing Dogs, places that number at closer to 40,000 each year. 20 animals that people love and keep as pets will be on an upcoming set of first-class Forever stamps issued by the Postal Service. A tan and white puppy, a golden lab, a spotted kitty, a tabby, and a dappled gray horse each have a stamp of their own, as do a white mouse, some green parakeets, a blue and gold macaw, rabbit, chinchilla, a gerbil, guinea pigs, and hamsters. There are even stamps for non-furry friends who aren't as soft and cuddly. Also featuring on these stamps will be a hermit crab, an iguana, a tortoise, a corn snake, a gecko, a goldfish, and a betta fish. The Postal Service hasn't said exactly when these Forever pet stamps will be issued, but it might be as early as May, which is National Pet Month. Canine Killer, as he is called by his handlers, is a very special service dog. His job is to hunt down rhinoceros poachers in South Africa, which is something plaguing that country and depleting the number of wild rhinos beyond oblivion. Killer works with an anti-poaching force in Kruger National Park, and over the past 4 years, he and his team were responsible for the arrest and prosecution of over 115 people. So to honor Killer, he's been awarded a gold medal, which was presented to him by actor Ricky Gervais. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Drs. Foster and Smith Pet Pharmacy, with everyday low prices on products like Quellin and Rimadyl delivered right to your door with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Learn more at fosterandsmith.com.
Doctors Foster and Smith Pet Supplies have a Vet VIPPS accredited online pharmacy covering all your pet's needs, from heartworm medications and anti-inflammatories like Rimadyl to non-prescription items like Canine Advantix Flea and Tick Preventive. Doctors Foster and Smith has your pet covered. We'll even contact your vet for you, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Low prices every day with free shipping on orders over $49. Shop online at fosterandsmith.com because your pet's health and happiness come first.
Did you know canine caviar diets are formulated with common health concerns in mind, such as diabetes, cancer, and kidney disease? You see, canine caviar uses low GI carbs, which reduce hunger and prolong physical endurance. Free of GMO, gluten, hormones, steroids, and antibiotics. Canine Caviar's 5-star dog and cat foods are the only alkaline-based foods in the world, and that promotes a healthy lifestyle for your furry family. Find out more at caninecaviar.com.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets. Here's the toll-free number, 1-866-405-8405, and we'll head back to the phones for your calls in just a couple of seconds. Don't forget, you can also ask your questions from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And there's so many reasons you should download that app. Not only can you ask your questions anytime, but you could listen to the show anytime on your terms, when you want to listen to it. And it's a free download thanks to those folks over at Doctors Foster's and Smith. Joining us, Animal Radio Veterinary Correspondent Dr. Marty Becker is back. How you doing?
Oh, doing good, friend. I heard on one of your teases talking about colonics in dogs, and that's a true story. Over the holiday, I followed a van in Spokane that they did colonics, and the bumper sticker said "hooked on colonics." Man, I can't get that thing out of my mind. Hooked on colonics.
A mobile colonic van, huh?
Yeah, mobile colonic van. Yeah, that goes to your home business. But one thing is funny. They do quite a few fecal transplants in dogs now.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that's something that's really oncoming. But here's what I want to talk about. Oz calls me America's veterinarian. What my wife calls me, you probably can't say on air.
Nope.
But I have some things that I want to get real here with things that maybe your veterinarian's telling you that he shouldn't, and things that your veterinarian might not tell you because either they're too busy. So let's start with the things that if you have a veterinarian that is still recommending you get vaccinations every year for all the core diseases in dogs and cats, you should find another veterinarian. It's inexcusable, except in some extreme case that Dr. Debbie and I probably don't even know. All the research is very well documented, and the vaccine guidelines that have been produced by our professional organizations, and including like the American Animal Hospital Association, the American Veterinary Medical Association, the American Association of Feline Practitioners, most of these core vaccines are given every 3 years. Some other things need to be given yearly, like Bordetella for dogs, and there's some things that are mandated by law in certain areas. But if you have a veterinarian that's still every year, poking full of holes like a watering can, I think it's unconscionable.
Now, that's a dramatic change over the last couple of decades.
Yes, yeah, and we know differently now. I mean, some people even claim that a one-time distemper shot is all you ever need. I can't go there because the research has not been done. The duration of immunity, what we call it, has not been done. So we need to follow the vaccine guidelines. But most of these now, we know the immunity lasts 3 years, and you can test. It's much more reasonable to test titers now. So if you're the kind that wants to actually see, like the fuel gauge in your car, how many antibodies your pet has and it's protected, you can do that. But there's still a disproportionate, and I'm not talking, I wouldn't even know what the number was. 25% of veterinarians that are still recommended every year, and that's a ripoff. And I'll get mail for that. I'll get hate mail. I might even get a death threat. But that's the truth.
Okay.
So that's one thing. And two, we're smart enough to know that you probably are going to get your flea and tick products somewhere other than the veterinary hospital. At least there's a good chance. We do have products that are proprietary that are the state-of-the-art, the leading products that you can only get from a veterinarian. And there's a good argument to be made for some of those that's what these pets should have. But you know what? If you used Canine Advantage or Frontline in the past and it's working well, it's the same Frontline you're going to get at Walgreens or Walmart or online, it's the same thing.
Okay.
But what I want you to do on food and stuff, I want you to at least ask your veterinarian. You're not going to offend us. A lot of people won't call because, oh my gosh, they'll be upset because I don't buy it from them. Call up and say, I'm going to buy my product where I buy my groceries, or I shop at, I go to CVS all the time, or I do all my shopping online. Can you recommend 1 or 2 products that you feel comfortable? And then we can put it in the medical record so we know what you're using. So, and the next thing is about how to feed. This is so important that if you go to the zoo, I was out doing an engagement just a few days ago, and you drive by the entrance to the Cincinnati Zoo, and if you were to go in there to the lion enclosure or the wolf enclosure, it's basically 4 fences enclosing a wolf or a coyote or a lion. And that's what a home is. A home is 4 walls enclosing these pets. And we're learning so much more about how important enrichment activities are. So as part of this fear-free movement that I'm working on, we're really digging deep, and you see that we not only have to remove or reduce anxiety triggers, we have to tremendously increase the enrichment activities. And one of the easiest ways to do that is just switch your food bowls out for food puzzles or food dispensing devices, so that it's an activity that doesn't just feed the body but feeds the mind. And the last thing is about creating fear-free veterinary visits. People will be excited to know the profession is changing. You're going to find veterinarians in the future being more like pediatric dentists or pediatricians, where we're really looking after both the physical and emotional well-being of your pets. Basically, I'll just tell you 2 or 3 things you can do to help your pet have a fear-free visit. One is to start planning the visit 2 or 3 days out when you get the carrier out. If it's a small dog or a cat, start a magic carpet ride of pheromones. You want to start your vehicle up so it's almost room temperature when they go out. A cat lives at 72 degrees. Don't go take them out in North Idaho today where it's 19 degrees and start it up, head in. Don't baby talk them on the way in. If best to say nothing or talk to them in a normal voice like you were going to the dog park. There actually is music you can download to play, or your veterinarian can send it to you in an MP3 file called Through a Dog's Ear, Through a Cat's Ear. And this is important when you get to the clinic. If you have one of those dogs that loves to be around people and loves to wait in the waiting area, fine. But for most pets, ask if you can go straight into an exam room to be checked in remotely. Or if they don't have the technology to do that, or they're too busy, go check in and go back out and wait in your vehicle, in your car, until it's your turn to be seen. And lastly, bring your pet in very hungry so it responds better to food rewards. I'm evangelical.
Dr. Marty Becker, if you want to learn more about him, links to everything that he does over at animalradio.com. Just hit the Zoo Crew link. We're going to head back to the phones toll free at 1-866-405-8405 next.
Hello everyone, it's Robert Sembro, your Pet World Insider, here with this week's Animal Radio List, 5 must-know things to understand when training your dog. Before you embark on training your favorite pooch, here are a few friendly tips for training the untrained. Number 1, be patient and have realistic expectations. Your dog may be the smartest being in your home, but that doesn't mean that they're going to understand everything you're trying to train them to do. So have a plan and know that it's going to take some time to train and reinforce the behaviors, tricks, and requests that you have in mind. Think of it this way. A dog is doing what comes natural to them. So whatever you're trying to change or correct is not necessarily natural for them. So it's going to take some time and reinforcement. Number 2, be specific and use the proper terms at the moment it occurs. If Fido has chewed up your favorite slippers while you're away at work, coming home 8 hours later and saying no or bad dog doesn't really tell them what they need to know. For all they know, your arriving at home has somehow made them a bad dog. So when you see them doing something that you need to correct, be specific and be timely. For instance, if they're jumping on someone, no just tells them not to do that. But they don't know what to do, so instead try saying sit. Number 3, consistent messaging from all they meet. If you're telling your pooch off when they jump on the bed, but your housemates are saying down or some other term, it gets confusing for them. So everyone in the home needs to be consistent. Number 4, training is more than the 1 hour you devote to it. Every interaction you have with your pet is training. You may specifically work on a trick or a request, but the reality is that you're in a constant state of training and reinforcement. So training and learning never really stops. If you see a new behavior that is developed, ask yourself what you or your housemates have done to teach this or reward this new behavior. Number 5, you don't have to rely on food treats to train. Yes, Who doesn't love bacon or cheese treats every time they do something right? It's my favorite way to learn too. However, it does add to the obesity problem, and you're also sending a message that when you don't have food, your dog may not need to do what you are asking them to do. Remember, most of the time your dog is only too eager to please you, not because you're a walking treat machine, but because you give them love, praise, and affection. Go ahead and use treats, but mix in praise, belly rubs, and other non-food related rewards as well. Finally, remember that you may not be the best at training, and from the dog's eye view, they've trained you. They stole your heart, trained you to feed them, care for them, and pay attention just by being themselves. To be the leader, you're gonna need to use patience, planning, and occasionally some prayers and bacon. You know it's worth it. Good luck, and share your training tips with us here at Animal Radio on our Animal Radio Facebook page.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
And we have George on the phone. Hey, George, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Dr. Debbie, I have a fat Siamese cat, and I'm standing next to her right now. When I come into the room, this is what she does. Did you hear that? Do it again. Well, she's getting fatter, so I've cut her diet down to whenever she does this to me, which is quite often, I've got like a 2 tablespoon size cup, and I just take a little, I use this IAM's Proactive Health Indoor Weight Hairball Care, and she gobbles it up. Then she goes around the carpet a few hours later, or maybe even a few minutes later, throws it up, and then comes back and says, meow.
Oh, poor dear. Now, how much does this kid weigh?
12 pounds.
Yeah, that's a big Siamese, because a lot of female Siamese will be about 6, 7, even 8 pounds. So, yeah, that sounds a bit heavy. Okay, so she's very vocal, and then when she is vocal, you feed her. Is that pretty much what I'm getting?
Well, yeah, what am I supposed to do? Just let her meow till, I can't stand it anymore?
Oh, gosh, you know what? Okay, here's some kitty tough love advice. Well, to some degree, Siamese will talk to you about anything and everything. And if she's learning the cue of talking to you gives me food, then that's a positive reward that she has just gotten for that. Now, some folks with Siamese love that verbal nature that they have, and they love to kind of chatter back and forth with their kitties. I am a little troubled, though, that this is rewarded by feeding in every instance, and we need to find a substitute action or behavior that we can reward, if you will, her talking to you, and find a different way that we can do feeding. So there are some ways, but it does take tough love, and I'm very serious about it, that you have to kind of get yourself out of the feeding equation. So for a kitty that is a real big demander of feeding, one strategy that I would work towards is to try to get her to utilize a timed feeder. And the idea with this is that we don't want her to cry and get food. We want her to learn that food will come from this magical box, and that it will come at set times, and meowing to dad isn't going to make this open up any sooner. So that takes time. So there are ways to kind of get her used to that. And there's some great time feeders that you can purchase online, pet stores and so forth, where you basically have a battery and then the little compartments open at preset times. This is a great tool for that cat that tries to wake you up in the middle of the night at 2, 3 a.m. Instead of getting up when they do this, you train them that they go to the feeder at that time, and it opens up on its own. So that way you take yourself out of that equation. You can sleep at night.
Right.
So
well,
to get to that,
on top of me at night.
Oh, okay. I know that. Been there.
Well, we definitely don't want her to get too heavy, because that will make it difficult to sleep then.
And then if I move, she complains.
Oh, she's got you wrapped around her little paw. I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Now, so some of the other things that I would say, working towards this idea of getting her to a time feeder, you can actually work on measuring her daily amount of her food in a container. So what we would want to do is to give her opportunities to work for her food, independent of you. So you might have to fill a little toy. There are nice little interactive toys made by some different companies, where they're basically kind of little puzzles. They're little plastic chew toys where you put the kibbles inside the item. They bat it around by the paw action, by chasing after it. Little pieces of food fall out. So that's a very good way to kind of get her activity level up and to make her work for food. Because if you face it, indoor cats sit around on their butt and wait for us to serve them. So this will give her something to do and to also kind of, get her off that couch and work for that food there. So,
right.
And then,
we might also... Years old. She still gets up and chases a laser light every once in a while when she got the energy.
Good.
Yeah.
And laser pointers are great to get cats moving, and things like the little cat dancers, the fishpole toys, things like that can be also wonderful to get them moving a little bit. And, if we don't have her necessarily on a weight loss diet, you might want to talk to your veterinarian if she's a candidate for being on a weight loss diet. But that might be another strategy to kind of help her out and try to get some of this weight off and, get her trimmed down a little bit here.
So how much food should I give her a day?
Oh, that's a great question. And the answer is I will usually refer people to the bag of the food that they're on because every diet is a little bit different in the calorie content. So there's no way we can compare food 1, 2, or 3 to each other. So we'll have to look at what the calorie content is. And especially with a weight loss diet, we can feed a little bit more of that and they'll feel a little bit more satisfied. If we just limit regular cat food that you might buy for any cat, for a cat that's overweight, by limiting the volume of food, you're also limiting the nutrients, and they'd be missing out on things and definitely can have some nutritional issues. So, that too, we might have to get her into a weight loss diet, one of maybe the high protein diets, that kind of work like catkins, if you will, to help them lose lean weight.
I just looked on this bag, and it does have feeding guidelines for the weight of a cat. If it weighs 12 pounds, it's feed daily to maintain weight is 3/4 to 1 cup, or to lose weight, just 3/4 of a cup. And this is like the AMP's proactive indoor proactive health.
And that may be a fine diet for, just kind of managing weight. But usually if I've got an overweight cat, it's difficult to get cats to lose weight in general. It really is. It's hard. It's harder than me eating pizzas and drinking wine on the weekends. So yeah, I would consider getting her on a weight loss diet. Those are generally prescription foods. There's a lot of different companies that have those, and that might be one other thing that we can do to really get this girl to kind of trim down a little bit more.
Yeah, she's turning into a round ball.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I love the Siamese. They're very vocal. They can be very active and very athletic, too. So maybe if we can kind of get this gal leaned down a little bit, you might see some more of that kittenhood come back.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Good luck with that. Let us know how that goes, George. We appreciate your call today.
Well, thank you. I enjoy listening to your show.
So do I. I get paid for it, too. Well, that was jam-packed, wasn't it? It went by pretty fast, too. I want to thank Dr. Marty Becker as well as Deb Montgomery over at the Morris Animal Inn. If you need an Animal Radio fix during the week, head on over to animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And we'll see you next week for more Animal Radio right here.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Woof.
This is Animal Radio Network.